But all right. So Chris, you're gonna start it off, right? I'll host. I'll bring it up, and then we'll start right here. All right, everybody, how's it going?
It's
This
doing
is
all right.
Marauders. We're
You know,
back.
you
We're
know.
back. We're back. This is gonna be part two of our last video. Um, we got pretty deep on the last, not pretty deep, but we got into our own personal media. This is gonna be a personal portion of a personal part of our video. We've felt pretty strongly. We're going to speak on the climate, what's happening around the world right now, here in the U.S. for the ones that are outside of our country, and the ones that are currently in our country. If you've been under a rock, you have no idea what's going on, and you're a fan of ours, please, please, please understand that we have a lot on our chest, and we kind of wanted to get it off. And not all of us can make it. Some people had to take care of family issues or personal things. So you just got me, Thomas, Mr. Thomas, and Mr. James as well. We're all here to try to give our 2 cents of how we feel, our frustrations. We're just here to dish out. So some of us are perturbed, so we say some things that you might not agree with. Sorry, but it's how we feel in this moment. We're not asking for forgiveness. We're not asking for acceptance. We're just talking. And I think, Mr. Thomas, if you don't mind setting up the mood, what is it that you got on your chest?
So as we've seen with what went down with George Floyd, with that officer that killed the man in middle of the street, broad daylight, and cameras rolling on him. It kind of sparked off some stuff that some people think that's been coming. That it's reaching a fever point where people have tolerated a lot from the police system, from just governmental agencies failing Black people, people of color, underprivileged communities. Like even like for me, it's not even sometimes always about like the reactions that happen to just Black people. Like if you look at like some cities where they don't even, like, the cities pretty much give up on just the lower income Americans and let the police handle it. Like what kind of system do we live in with that? But so there's been a lot of emotions going around with all the protesting and the rioting that some people want to call some of these moments. But yeah, it's
anything personally that you've seen so far? What this happened when Mr. Floyd ended up passing, unfortunately. That happened the end of May 25th, I think it was.
I want to say that was like 2 weeks ago or so at this point now.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we'll say 2 weeks ago, May 25th, I think it was. From May 25th to now, we're all pretty social media heavy. Like not heavy, but we have our ears to the pulse. Is there been anything that you've seen that has either you felt violated yourself, or at least you see something that you have some kind of faith in right now? And that goes for both of y'all, but I'll ask Mr. Thomas first.
So for me, I've like most recently, I was happy to see the amount and the size of these protests and the vocalness of the combined unity of the people getting together, sticking together on this one, because it reminds me of, you actually go back and look at the civil rights movement, how big the unity was there for, like, it was a combined unity for women's rights, like, African American rights across the board. It was just a lot of different people working together to make these happen. But one thing recently that's been kind of irking me is the amount of people who want to use the good "I'm a good cop" hashtag situation.
I spoke for this.
All right, speak on it.
For me, I don't really care for it. Like they might be a good cop, but I'm like, I should be able to tell that by seeing their actions. I shouldn't have to look at a video of some dudes in his squad car, like, I'm a good cop. Let me do my wave thing right quick. I'm like, that don't make me think you're a good cop. It makes me think you're a dude takes care of his hygiene. Like what are you doing? Some of them are out there, in the neighborhoods every day talking to people. While some of them want to say, well, I just do my job, which makes me a good cop. I'm like, just doing the basic in a situation doesn't make a person.
And also keeping in mind the whole being a fucking decent human being as well.
It should be like the standard, shouldn't be the exception.
The expectancy.
Yeah, because you was a human before you were a cop, and also like as soon as you take off your clothes, like you're still a regular human at that point in case. And like to me, presenting yourself like showing that like, hey, you got all these good cops and everything like that. Like basically, you're just trying to defend. Like you're just trying to defend yourself. We're not looking for that right now. Right now we're looking at the injustice of it. So you should be standing with us. Like we shouldn't have to worry about going out trying to, protest like peacefully with everybody with armed weapons and assault rifles and everything like that. Like, how do you show like your support for the community if you really believe in us and believe everybody should be one as a unity, including if you want to say Blue Lives Matter? I mean, Blue Lives Matter. There's Black people within Blue Lives Matter. That's like every different color possible. So for you to just distinguish yourself in this point, like your house is on fire, this is not the case to me. Like, I just don't understand why you would do that or why you project that or why I would see some people only post about police without with seeming like they're ignoring the injustice of everything else. And especially when I know that you have like color in you, and then understanding just from my understanding of history and research that your background is stemming from the same place too, and that you have to be facing this oppression too, if you want to recognize it or not. It's just unbelievable to me.
Yeah, that goes in line with what you were saying. Like a police officer could easily take his uniform off, and at the end of the day, a Black man, Black woman, Black individual, anybody with the Black in them culturally, they can't just get rid of that.
And see, the thing is too, it's watching some of them how they're reacting to it, and then like watching other ones. Like I saw a chief, and he said it. Like I can't remember his word verbatim, but when he said, "We got to work to earn their trust back because all it takes is one bad action to bankrupt that trust." And he understands that person understood.
It makes sense.
It's like he could be a good cop all he wants, and he knows he's a good person, but he also realizes it's not something that you can just spin it. It's this happened. We now got to work to build back that trust, because if people don't trust you, no matter what you say, it's not worth anything to them.
Yeah, exactly. You could do 1,000 good things and then do that one bad thing, but people are just going to focus on that one bad thing. That's like the thing you remember. Like, just think about your memories and stuff like that. You could have good memories, but think about how many bad memories that you remember, because they stand out because of what happened in that point in time. And that's what people judge you on. That's what people look at you like. That's what your whole weight of your person becomes, that because you think in yourself like, was that person always in you that whole time, and now you're just showing it to the world, especially if you get caught on camera. Like,
I see it like this. I've always been invested in psychology and observing humans. It's a mental scar. Like, going off of what you're saying, James, when so much bad shit happens, it's another scar in your brain. That memory of a scar stays there. It's prominent, especially depending on how heinous it was, or how vile it was, or how abused you felt. You won't forget that shit. So you apply that. That's like anybody. You apply something bad and you distinguish that. You find things that points to that moment. A face, a color, a shoe, like anything in that moment. You remember. You hold that in your mind so long throughout your life that either you have to teach yourself to accept it or you do something about it. Like, you can't just. Sometimes accepting can only go so far. You know what I mean? And I see that right now. People are done accepting. This is not an accepting moment anymore. That man dying, his untimely death, was a defining factor to shit the boiling point, as we could define it as in this moment. So rightfully so. Y'all know me, man. I'm Mr. Nonviolent. In my past, I used to be very quick-tempered or want to be tempered, but I realized that going about violence isn't the right way. But with everything that's happening, a big but, with everything that's happening, man, I'm starting to scare myself. I've mentioned this before. I'm starting to scare myself of where my thoughts are going when I see certain videos or I see cops getting mollywopped or getting that retribution, or I feel like it's retribution. Like I'm pumping my damn fist, like damn right, get that motherfucker. But then I've never been that person though.
See, I think the hard part too, though, is it's like, I know some people like, well, not all cops are bad and some don't deserve it. But if you shove someone like the man in Buffalo,
Oh my God,
It's ridiculous.
when I saw that, I'm like, well, this dude, it looked like he came peacefully. He didn't come wild, and he didn't come yelling at him like, like
75-year-old man. Sorry, go ahead.
And then he gets shoved, and then no one does anything about it. Like, you feel
And
it.
they walk past him, and
This
you can see him
motherfucker is
literally
leaking.
bleeding out.
He's leaking out of his fucking head. Are you serious?
So it's like these moments, like some people aren't catching, like these are the moments that are bringing people more and more together against that organization. Like, and I've seen sheriffs now who, quit their jobs, go on social media because of situations. It's like, and which is it's a complicated situation because
Of course.
Yeah,
all the
because
ones
you
who
want
really
people-
feel strong about it quit. That's a problem.
Yes, that's what I think too. Like, if you feel strong about it, you have to be there to hold everybody else in your organization accountable.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing. Like, that's what we're looking for. And even if I'm not speaking for him, that's how I feel like in my heart. Like, if you're in a building or like, you're working at your job, you holding each other accountable in that moment. So if you see some injustice or you see your civil rights being broken or you see somebody dying that's already tied up and can't move or not causing any type of harm to you, why would you not act in that moment? Like, where is your humanity at? Oh, unless your humanity is you don't even see that person as a full person in themselves. Like, you don't see them equivalent to you. And that's where I think that the problem is. And then when I see, like, at just the defining moment, like, you look at stars and everything like that, they're all in the spotlight. If the cops in the spotlight, they know. How you just going to push somebody down on the sidewalk just for that moment and just assign it as that one and just think it's okay? Like, not like the whole world is watching right now. And you still had the audacity to do that. So how much do you really care? And that's what I think it's like enraging people, like, okay, this is way bigger than we really thought it was. And besides just talking about just the cops itself, because it's a whole systematic system, and where like you have everything that like oppresses people and they all collectively work together. It just so happens that we're highlighting cops right now, but you can't just stop at cops. It has to go, the whole system has to be cleared or clean to try to fix this problem, because just fixing one part or putting a Band-Aid on one part is not going to fix it. Like all these protests and, I don't want people rioting, but like, all of that, like combined together, you have to get something out of that. Like you have to go vote. You have to get the people that are in power to make a change.
More involved.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like the people, I was thinking about that this morning. Like the people who are out here being activists, some of them need to study up on how government works and take positions to make these changes. They have to. Some of them, if they believe they have that charisma, move to doing something so you can actually make the changes in the government. Because some of them are needed on the ground. Some of them are needed in places of power. Some of them are needed in government. And some, like, a culture change would be needed in the police departments. Like, and that's the hardest part, like, because you need an influx of that change to come in to make it possible. Like, if you have a class of 15 who graduate the academy, 15 of them are going under TOs, training officers, to teach them how the culture already is. You got to have, if you could fill up a whole class of maybe like 15 to 20 of these people who already understand the reality of, I'm coming in here to change the culture, not fit in and do what I need to do, like, and just be part of it. Like, I'm coming in here, I want to make changes. I want to work my way up to make the changes. Because some of these people, they've been in there holding officer, like the chief sergeant positions for a good, 10, 20 years, and the world's unchanged, but they still thinking the same way. So it's going to take some time, but people are actually going to have to make an actual conscious decision of this is why I'm joining to help. Not like, yeah, a lot of people, they first a lot moved in to help their community, but no, I'm here to start that change and hold on to that change, because it's not even a white and black thing. Because I remember I watched a documentary news report where they went inside of a police department in Jersey made up mostly of Hispanic and black dudes, and it didn't look that much better. It didn't look that much better.
That's another thing. Most police officers that become, or people in those areas that become police officers, came from those areas, so they already have a certain stereotype and a certain what's that labeling when they look at these people. You know what I mean? So that stereotype of a black police, they say that what's that stereotype? A black police officer is worse than a white police officer. What was that? That was in Don't Be a Menace. I think I saw that movie. But that's a stereotype apparently within these communities, or just communities in general.
Well, that's part of it too, though. Which, in the whole, that's culturally speaking, there's a big thing of, and it's something that for me personally, I always have an issue with. It's the way to look presentable as a black person in America. A lot of times they want you to, polo, suit, tie, all that. But it's like, I think that's part of the problem. That is the fact that we look at, like, if I was walking down the street, bandana wrapped up, pants sagging, people can look at me a certain type of way. They don't know if I could be a, multi-millionaire, but all they're going to see is black dude, bandana, pants sagging.
Appearance.
And those are some of the things that we need to change culturally to really make that difference. Like, if a dude who can go in there, go to work, and he's a strong work ethic, how he dresses, what style he rocks with, should not be part of it. Like,
I don't know if that comes down to I think that comes down just to policy, wouldn't it? Just work policy.
But think about it.
See, that came down to them trying to make us look like them. That's what it straight up came down to. So remember, like, how we have our hair. You think I could have my hair like this right now if it wasn't for like something changing? Like, that's why everybody had like getting their hair straightened and all this other type of stuff. It's because they thought it was best to look like them. They didn't want us to be our own culture, our own being of ourselves. Like, we had to fit into what their norm or what they want us to be. And that said, we were doing it collectively too, because we wanted to fit in and we wanted to stay out of trouble. Because when you go somewhere, like, you think about yourself, like, how am I presented in this case? Like, am I going to look at it? Am I going to go steal something? Like, you walk into the store and 3 or 4 people walk in front of you, but you're the only person that they speak to. And then you start like questioning, like, why are they only speaking to me? And you don't even want to think about racism. And be like, there it is. It's been taught. Like, just because I look different from my shade of color or my hairstyle or whatever, they're just automatically thinking that I'm some strong, angry person that, like, wants to go steal something, or I'm a problem child. Just doesn't make any sense.
And see, like, I remember, like, at one of my previous jobs, the big issue was they believed having a beard was unprofessional. And for, like, that department to believe having a beard was unprofessional, it struck issue with me. I didn't care for that idea whatsoever. But then what made it worse for me, after hearing them always talk about that you had to be clean shaven, is when I started looking at, like, a place like Oregon, where officers over there, had full beards. It wasn't a situation. I'm like, so y'all trying to force people to conform, and, like, the world, a lot of society, we do a lot of trying to force the confirmation.
Yeah.
And that causes issues in itself, which alleviates or escalates some of the stuff that we see that happen. Like, if I'm riding down the street blasting rap music, Pusha T or something like that, doesn't mean I'm out here slinging drugs,
I just enjoy the content.
Yeah, I just enjoy the content. It's like, and in the reality, most people who are probably in law enforcement would say, people don't really look the part. Like,
If you want to fool the police,
children
hell yeah.
don't look the part. Serial killers don't look the part. Like none of these people look the part. But then all of a sudden, certain fragments of society still get profiled because they look the part.
And profiling is just another term, another coin of stereotype.
Yeah, but the thing is too, some people truly believe that's what keeps them safe at night. The fact that they profile people, which again is another mass society issue that needs to be addressed. But
definitely needs to be addressed. Let's talk about like all the mass shootings and everything that we have in America. What do those people look like? Do they look like you? Do they look like you? Okay.
Functionally, that's not necessarily true, but that is as an even number. I believe in America.
Unfortunately,
that's more media like media shown, because when it happens, it's like
what I'm saying is there's this disparity like that. You can look like anything you want to look like and still fit a certain profile. Like you can make a person fit whatever profile you want them to fit.
I mean, we can
and
think of
they
Jeffrey
can be the
Dahmer.
complete opposite of it.
Yeah, because it's like even though like when you think of like just like you said that like when you think of a mass shooting, you picture a certain type of person, and a lot of people do. But then when you look at like the actual faces of the people who don't make it to the national level, that's a diverse list of people right there. But when it happens, it's like, they might do like 3 or 4 people, but then when that person does 20 shows up, sometimes he fits that description a lot of the time. So it's like,
I know.
And numbers wise, it's a higher probability because of just the population makeup of America. So
I know when it comes, like getting back to what happened. I think it was in Buffalo. I think it was upstate New York where that happened to that 75-year-old man.
Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo, right?
Mm-hmm. Side note, there's also what gave me issue with that good cop situation, because before that happened, they were sitting there kneeling with the protesters and all that.
They still.
There's been plenty of times they've done that. And then they started shooting rubber bullets and tear gassing with people just walking peacefully. And corralling them like they're cattle. I'm
gonna get into that, and that's what it is. That's all it is. It's just rounding up people to where they want them to be. That's what the tear gas is. That's what the rubber bullets are for. And fun fact, the rubber bullets initially are so they can shoot at the ground, so they can hit people's feet. You're not supposed to directly hit motherfuckers with those things. There's a kid that got shot. I'm sure y'all seen it. A kid got shot in the head. He's brain damaged now. And when they were trying to escort him to their EMT and some like 2 other people were trying to escort him to a safe zone where the police were, they were carrying him, this brain dead child that got hit, or a 20-year-old man that got hit with a rubber bullet, and they were shooting at the EMT and these guys when they were carrying the kid to them or to a safe zone.
And I was watching that. I was like, how is that even possible?
What are y'all doing? Like, it's incredible, man. And there was another one with those. Let me get back to that 75-year-old man that got pushed and leaking from the fucking head. That same department, 50 police officers walked out because the 2 officers that pushed that 75-year-old man, they got suspended.
See, and that's the thing too with that situation. They opened up and said why they walked. Like I think it was like 47. They said why they walked out. They said because they felt like the department didn't protect them from prosecution.
Are you kidding me?
It's like, yo, did y'all see what happened? Of course,
did you? Were you there?
It's like,
see, the thing is, what I saw. Sorry to cut you off, Thomas. What I saw in that video, those two police officers shoved them away. Mind you, that man was giving them a helmet back.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed them away. Started leaking from his ear. Started walking by. Oh shit, this dude leaking. I saw one of the officers that was wearing fatigues. I'm assuming he was possibly military, or maybe he was just wearing or national. He was probably National Guard, right?
I think one of the riot officers went to try.
Okay, well, he was checking like he was checking the old dude, but he was telling everybody to keep walking, go, because in that moment when you see I'm thinking like mom mentality type shit. You see this old 75-year-old dude get pushed, start leaking, or at least pushed. You're thinking, yo, they're attacking him. So I see why that police officer, like, they kept walking forward. But regardless, all that was unnecessary. None of that should have went down. I understand that there's still procedures or what they feel like they need to do to calm down rioters and looters. What they need to do, what they're doing is what they're trained to do in the end of the day, or what these motherfuckers are telling them. These higher up guys, the chiefs and the lieutenants, what they're telling them to do. And I think it's still there should still be a decency. Like if you see this motherfucker is on the ground, this older gentleman on the ground bleeding, and you're just I'm thinking like I'm thinking instinctually, I'm checking, yo, he hit his head on the ground. I gotta check on this dude. I'm the one that pushed him.
Right.
It should have been protocol or something. Like you see someone go down like that, you have 50 people there.
What's that one person gonna do?
Yeah, one person can stop, help him out.
No armor on. No, I don't. You see both his hands.
But then the idea too that they said that he tripped initially in that report that was filed was he tripped. And it was like, again, if there's no camera there, we would have just found out this dude
which is crazy.
And told this guy tripped. And so it's like, see that's the other hard part, because we need to get to the point where there's cameras everywhere, recording it all the time, like in the Orwellian state, or
Canon camera, baby, get ready.
But like that's the question. Like, do we need because down here, you go to certain parts of where we live, there are cameras and street lights that are just recording everything all the time. Do we need to get to that part of like when you go, you can't go a block without a camera on you? Is that what we need to get to like?
I mean, they do it. I think they do it in Japan. I think they do it in England. Don't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. For the ones that are watching, go in the comment section, say I'm an idiot. But I'm pretty sure like we have CCTVs. I watch on cops or not cops. I forgot. I think it's live police or live cops. I think it is. I've seen a couple of those. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those, and they show like the CCTVs. Or I used to watch on 48 hours a lot.
Yeah, I watch them too.
There's a lot of motherfuckers that not paying attention. A lot of dudes that not paying attention. Camera right on them. You know what I mean?
But see, a lot of those times those are privately owned. But like, say like if you go to like New York City, that's owned and ran by the police department. They have a whole bunch of like.
Oh, they have a lot of cameras out there.
Yeah, and that's like owned by the city. Like, but like a lot of places too, though. You got like ATM machines or something like that, or like different cameras that can catch the angle. But do we need the part like everyone needs to buy cameras, put it out their windows, aim in every direction just to make sure something didn't go the way he said it happened? Or
hey, look. Well, I say like if they just want to start like small, like besides like everybody want to consider it small, all cop cars should have cameras in it that's always recording, and so all the cops have a camera on the vest always recording, and you shouldn't be able to turn it off. Like when they're turning it off, that means you're about to do something. Why? What reason do you have to turn off your camera?
There should be certain. Well, real quick, James. All police officer vehicles, all squad cars have cameras in them.
Yeah.
I remember I did a ride along. At one point I wanted to be a police officer, but I did a ride along, and the camera turns on when they switch the lights on.
Yeah.
They can either turn it on manually, but as soon as they switch those sirens on or the lights to kind of signify a pullover, the camera turns on automatically.
And I thought that was the case, but it seems like, I guess just looking at videos from the media and stuff like that, it seems like when something happens, they didn't have any video recording of it or something like that, and they just get away with it. Like when it comes to,
that's usually away from. They're not even by the car when that happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, like most of these videos you're watching is like walking up to someone on the street or on the sidewalk or whatever. Like most.
That's why they need body cams.
Yeah, and they do. I know. Where we live, they have body cams, but
they keep them on all the time. But are they allowed to turn them off? Because I've been hearing
they're supposed to keep them on.
I think if they get caught turning them off,
that's some kind of disciplinary action, I'm sure.
And that's the thing. Shouldn't for all these shootings and everything like that we're seeing, shouldn't all these cops be held accountable though?
That's the thing you got to keep in mind too. These cameras are on them. So of course, when it gets too bad, not of course, but I'm theorizing. If it's that bad of an abuse of power, they kind of swing it in their favor. The department. That's like me and you working our own business. I did something fucked up. But you're gonna be like, bro, I know you fucked up, but I got your back. You know what I mean?
But see, the thing is too, like what we're looking at is like we'll look at certain situations, and to the average person, you're looking at it like, no, that's just wrong. For them,
It's normal.
it's normal. They think they're doing the right thing, and
Yeah.
that comes down to a corrupt culture. Not like a
Bro.
corrupt, like we stealing money corrupt, but like when you teach someone if they don't do this, it's like a good chance they're gonna die at the end of the day. You're gonna warp their mind by the time they've been on that job for a couple of years.
Yeah, and
It's
these motherfuckers sign up for that shit, bro. They
and
know.
that's what they keep telling. Oh, you gotta make sure you come home tonight. No. Make sure everyone who's in the city come home tonight.
Tonight,
You sign up
exactly.
for it.
Yeah, but we're inherently selfish, man.
You know what? Though? Not all. Same way I feel about people who sign up for the military. If you sign up for it, you took on that burden yourself. We didn't draft you into the police. We didn't draft you into the military.
I hear you, Thomas, man. But it's when you're because when you're going in the military, so you like that's like usually in this day and age how I think of it. When you're going to the military, it's like your last option type of thing, or you see the benefits.
A lot of people just go into the military.
Yeah. Well, let me get there. Or you see a benefit. You see a benefit for going into the military because it could progress you further into in a career. So going in, you're not thinking, oh, we about to pop off a war. You don't expect the war prospect of it all. You see the benefits of what you're getting from it. Because I thought about getting into the military at one point too. My father did 20 years in the Army, so I thought about doing it as well.
I think people there. You have some people. I want to say a good majority of people who join the military. They think they're going to go out there and do some good for the world. I think the thing is though, the reality of it hits differently. But once you sign that dotted line, once that reality hits, you have nothing but serve out that time at that point.
Yep.
So but like, and even them, like, you see how some of the soldiers react to seeing some of this stuff. They're like, they have more rules for them and like rules of engagement than the officers have over here, which is craziness. It's like, and they're in a war zone. People are actively looking to get rid of them.
Yeah, so, exactly.
It's like,
it's a lot, man. It's not easy. Like right now, people are really over in Minnesota where Mr. Floyd ended up losing his life. They're talking about. I saw that big protest when they were talking to the mayor about the defunding the police departments, and it's a tough position to be in. I'm sure as a politician, but I don't know if defunding is the. I think there should be a defunding because I think $1 billion almost go into the police department, or I think something like that. I think what it is, it should be a reform. A strict reform and a strict policy. But go ahead. Sorry.
See, I think that's the hard thing. I think people are tired of hearing the word reform. And the thing is, though, I think there needs to be conversations and studies that are being allowed. Because legally, there's certain studies you cannot do on the police because of lobbyists and all that. So there needs to be conversations that are allowed to happen on these subjects. That there needs to be on a national, state, local level conversations that need to happen. Like right now, people are angry and they're some dismantle, some say defund, but they need to like for me, my biggest thing is we need to look at certain laws, take certain laws off the book.
Definitely need to take certain laws off the book.
Big one.
Dealing with certain things, we might need to even form a new thing to deal with people. Like say it's like John Doe's having a mental health crisis. We have a group that we call to deal with that. Not a person with a gun, but a person who maybe tranquilizers, I don't know, but someone who can deal with a situation.
Yeah, I know you're just speaking, but that could deal with a lot of health issues too, depending on the dosage.
So because I was watching that. Remember, Thomas, you and I was watching it, and they said that they were already doing studies. When Obama was speking, and they said they were already doing studies of what they could do to reduce crime and everything like that over the past.
Extrapolate on what you're talking about, James. What y'all talking about?
I'm trying to think what it was called. What organization?
It was on the Obama Foundation's YouTube page. I can't remember the name of it myself, but it was like a round table that they had going. talking
Yeah,
about.
so basically they was talking about like all these different studies to reduce the crime rate and what they have, and it showed like, possibly like a 70% reduction, but that was just, what they did then in their locality, not like, on a national level, and said like,
Yeah.
hey, all these mayors and everything like that need to go and sign up to invoke it because they have studies to prove that it actually can work. And, and then we need to continue to refine it as we go on. I can't remember the name of it.
Is there a link to be able to watch that? Maybe we can put that.
Yeah, there is a link. There is a link. It's just that I don't know if they have a thumbnail yet, because I was going to drop it on my IG, but they didn't have one yet. When I was talking to Thomas, I was like, is there a way I could share this? But
We'll do some research on that for the ones that are this deep into our conversation and want to look into that. We can drop a link on there under the video and see
social media links or something.
We could look into it, because I wouldn't mind at least looking at some of that as well. I remember you guys speaking on it, but I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I think, man, we keep going, man. I think there's just a lot. It's just really fucked up, bro. Like every morning I wake up, the first thing I do, I go straight on Twitter and I see something new. Or I see something, not new, but at least something that happened maybe a couple days ago that I didn't catch. And it's still it's like how there's the one thing that I was on Reddit one day. I want to just briefly. The thing that I'm sick of, I've heard people talk about it in the past with Trayvon Martin, what they did with Trayvon Martin, how they digged up his past. Is it Eric Garner or Eric Varner? Varner? Excuse me. I apologize to the ones that they dig up these people's past. They did the exact same with George Floyd. And they're talking about the shit he did. I'm not going to talk about it because there's no point in talking about it. We don't care what happened to him in his past.
It's what happened at that moment in time.
Exactly. I've never been the one.
Me.
Bro, it's really I'm about to have an aneurysm. It's just it doesn't make sense. Why would you bring up something that happened to a dead man in his past that he served time for? It's so like it's incredible, bro. It's really incredible how people are just so desensitized and so apathetic to something that happened to another human being, bro. Like, how can you not care and just don't shine him up to be a fucking hero, bro? We're not talking about that. He sparked something that's supposed to resonate with all of us if you're a fucking human being in this country. That's it. This isn't that all lives matter bullshit, blue lives matter bullshit, bro. We ain't talking about that. There's a reason why this movement is so secure. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get too deep. It's really, really frustrating.
It bothers me too. Every single time I see it, it bothers me, man. Every single time I fucking see it, it bothers the hell out of me.
I don't understand how you can live in this country and think that everything's fine. Like, I have friends, or I'm associated with people that I know they're tiptoeing around shit because I have a feeling you want to say some grimy ass shit, and so you're reading the room because you know I'm in that bitch. But I'm gonna leave that shit. I'm gonna leave that shit alone. I'm gonna wait. I'm waiting patiently, man. But I ain't trying to do it. I ain't trying to do it. But
we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, man. If y'all look good,
if y'all look good. But yeah,
It's not easy. This isn't gonna be easy, fellas. This is not gonna just go away. But I appreciate it. I appreciate this. I wish we had more in the room. But yes, this is Media Marauders. Y'all have any last ones? We got short on time. Do y'all have anything?
No, we good, man.
All right, y'all have a good night. Part 2, Media Marauders. Check us out for the next one. Please be safe. Please, please, please be safe. We love y'all. Good night. Bye.